to call this meeting to order, please. Say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No. Do we want to do a roll call first before we take care of this?
Not really, this is the second meeting.
All right, let's.
This is a meeting of the Election Commission to appoint election inspectors for the August 6, 2013 Fort Union Area School District election. We have Chairperson Ruth A. Clinton, Co-Chair Jenny James, Election Inspector Cindy Minnie, Pat Moses, and Judy Perry.
I make a motion that we accept the committee.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous.
Okay. So the election inspectors are approved. Can you put me in that frame? I just got there too. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, we already opened our meeting with the pledge. If we could have a roll call vote, please, for our regular meeting.
Give me 2 seconds. We're early. We're early.
Yeah, we are a little bit early.
That gives me time to read the Zoom.
Yeah.
I just want to. There you go. This.
There's a couple of that were I didn't have to.
Do a roll call?
Do a roll call, please.
Okay.
Jane, we've already said the Pledge of Allegiance because we had a little meeting earlier, so I thought we'd do it one time.
Mr. Greiler?
Here.
Mrs. Minnie?
Here.
Mr. Platzer?
Here.
Mr. Ethel?
Here.
Mrs. Tremble here.
Okay, moving on. We have a move to accept the consent agenda for $55,744.45.
I move to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I would ask for a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Greiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Minnie?
Yes.
Mr. Platzer?
Yes.
Mr. Ethel?
Yes.
Mrs. Tremble, yes.
Okay, thank you. Citizens wishing to address the board. Robert Abernathy.
Yeah, let's see. We just approved monies, $178.20 went into the FOIA account. Did we really collect that amount of money?
Went into?
Yeah, was accepted. Is in the consent agenda. I received the consent agenda, but the monies, it said that you collected $178.20 for FOIA charges for last month. The meeting dates, I guess it's slightly irritating to me. The Open Meetings Act still not being followed on the website. 10 days after the first meeting of the year, the dates of all the meetings, planning commission meetings, regular meetings, are supposed to be posted either on the web page, front page, or in a prominent place linked
Right
from...
the hall.
Yes, ma'am, we understand that, but the Open Meetings Act of 2013 requires that they be posted on the township website.
Or a prominent meeting.
No, ma'am, it's not or, it's both.
There's a lot of questions on that, but I will get that looked into.
Yeah, because this gentleman almost didn't come tonight because when you look on the website, and it's a little, I mean, the state changed this year. The reason that they changed it was because there were meetings that were happening that people were not aware of. And when you're using the website as a means of communication with the public,
I understand that, but we've always posted it on the sign
right?
and on the...
But as of
bulletin board.
2013, it must now be posted on the website. And I did
We
notice,
Only if you-
understand that.
Only if you use
We
it on a
understand.
regular basis.
and it is.
Mhm.
I understand you're going to do a civil infraction ordinance. I don't know what it is. It wasn't discussed that I'm aware of at any meeting. However, if you're going to do a civil infraction ordinance, that I would think that would also allow now a noise ordinance to be put in place. Part of the reason is I went over my notes from last year that people were being told you couldn't do a noise ordinance was because the sheriff's department wouldn't come out here unless you didn't have an ordinance. It wasn't that they just wouldn't come out here. It was that they wouldn't come out here unless you had an ordinance. If you now have an ordinance on the noise, then, and a civil infraction, ways and means of issuing tickets through a civil infraction order, then the noise ordinance could be put in place for those that were complaining about it. Also, I go down to the park an awful lot. I've gone to both parks. I complained in May, or at least let you know in May, that the 2 trash cans at the one park are still destroyed. Although improvements have been made down there, they still don't look, those have not been addressed. And the signs at Jetto, the one I mentioned that was going to fall, has fallen, and they shouldn't be there anyway. So
Those
it's already,
to stop you there on that, those fences, the main fence, those parking signs need to be there. Because if we need to get an emergency vehicle down that hill, and there's cars parked there, there's no way of getting them. So they're gonna stay on that main fence. no parking signs.
Okay, is there a way to designate that there is some parking area in there so that it's not confusing? Because
That's
the
the
way
only
that it
spot
looks
that
is,
says no parking.
I'm sorry?
That is the only spot. There used to be signs along the side fences.
And
Those
those
have
were
been
all
removed.
taken down.
So
We've
people
taken all
can
the
park in
signs
there.
down that say no parking along the north side, south side.
Okay, so what you're referring to is right where the big fence is so that you
Where
can
the
get a
big fence
vehicle
is
down
there, if we
there.
need to get an emergency vehicle or something down
Okay, I
there.
get that. That one sign that was there is the one that fell down. The only no parking sign that's there is way over to the right. So if there's one spot that you can't park in, according to a sign, it's way over to the right, not where,
Well, I
Where you can get a
I was up
vehicle.
there, I was up there the other day and I just, I noticed the one parking, there was no parking sign there, but I was down
That's at the
checking the
garage.
beach. No, it's on,
no, they kind of sprayed that out.
yeah, they kind of, somebody
Kind of sprayed it out.
Somebody-
sprayed that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the only one that's down there is way on the right. And
Well, we'll move them, we'll move them.
So, okay. No, I think that's it. Thanks. Other than FOIA charges, is there a reason? Because
I
that's
don't have an
happened.
answer for that. no.
That's happened before. When I did a 10-year thing on the FOIA, there'd been like $50,000 collected in FOIAs during the years that you didn't even charge for FOIAs, so. I don't know if that's creative financing or what, but,
Our line item 628 says FOIA request charges. We budget $400, year-to-date, $181.20.
Those are the charges.
That's what's been collected.
Right, that's right.
That's what he's talking about, where's that money, that evidently, people who paid that much for a FOIA request.
wow,
Mhm.
okay, very good.
That'd be year-to-date.
I see the date.
It's
Year to date, yeah.
7 months.
No, since March,
Oh, yeah, right, I'm sorry,
or April 1st, actually 3 months.
3 months.
So $60 a month, it could be easy. Could have done, I don't know, did we have a big FOIA request?
I'd have to go back and look. I can't tell you right now what they all were. There were several.
Okay, anyone else wishing to
We
address?
did have one big one, yes.
Address the board? Hearing none, we'll move on ask for a motion for the approval of our agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve our agenda. Are there any comments or questions?
Just, we'll probably do the annual review at the end, right?
Yes, did you not get the new agenda?
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, we'll
Yes.
probably do all the reports.
But we need to add the chapel preservation group to unfinished business that didn't get put on this
Okay,
time.
we want to add that as D.
D, mhm.
We want to also add something about the recycle thing at Fort Gresham.
Well, that can come under
I was going to speak to that
supervisor.
on the supervisor. Okay, you want to redo your motion with the addition to the agenda?
That's fine.
And I'm okay with it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, departmental reports. Mark, fire department?
All I have is furnace has been installed and all done and functioning and all that. And the wedding we had last, on July 5th is all done, all successful and all set.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, building department.
The only thing I haven't talked to, I can't remember the guy's name, one of the gentlemen who's here at the last meeting, up on here in court, and it appears that that house is getting set to be torn down, probably, the car's gone, the grass is mowed. Somebody's over there looking at it to tear it down, so.
And the county trimmed the bushes back.
Yep.
Yeah, on here in court, that was all taken care of.
Yep.
Trim the bushes out down
Good.
Well, I don't know if you have anything else, would you mind?
No, I sent them a notice and they're up for, I gave them 30 days to respond and get the house. I went by and saw the grass and the car had been taken care of, but I haven't heard anything on the house.
Yeah, well, the neighbor told me that last Friday that there was somebody over there looking at it tear it down, so.
Well, I didn't tell them to tear it down, I told them to either fix it or tear it down.
Okay. Okay.
A or B.
Let's move it forward anyway.
Okay, thank you. Water Department, just to mention, Dusty's mother passed away this last week, so he had a kind of a trying week, so that's why he's not here tonight, so. Moving on, Jane, the library?
I just have one sort of an announcement here. The county library board will be meeting at the Burtchville Library on Tuesday, August 27th at 6:30. It's a public meeting. You're welcome to attend. Anybody wants to see the current board members. There have been a couple of changes in board members since the last time they met at Burtchville. They basically rotate the summer meetings, so our turn comes up, for a meeting comes up every 2 years, usually in August.
Okay.
It will be August 27th this year.
Okay. Anything else? That's it. Thank you very much. Unfinished business, Old Township Hall renovation. I think we're finally pretty well wrapped up with all the carpet work. We went over there this morning, we did a punch list. There were 12 items, maybe 12, 13 items, you know, maybe 6 or 7 on the inside and 5 or 6 on the outside that should be taken care of. While we're on that subject, I think now that we need to look at getting some black dirt in there so we can get some plantings in there, and then we need to look.
We're gonna get the drainage done.
We need to go over and get that drain.
The front there, just in the little, it's full of weeds, it looks terrible.
We need
That's no problem.
the drain process there, and then we need to look at maybe pouring some concrete in there, getting some stone put in there for, you know, for temporary parking until we decide what we want to do with that. So if we get a chance.
I'll give it a-
What's it take to start that?
Well, as far as the dirt, I'll just grab some dirt.
Okay, but the stuff that's in there, some of it needs to come out, but what about the drain? How are we gonna get, where do we go with that?
Well, we gotta decide about how we're gonna lay that out. We talked about it before. I don't know if you wanna talk about it right now, or you want.
Not necessarily, but do you contact someone else, or, I mean, I'm not a drain person.
I don't think we
Mike's
need
not-
to, but I think if we go over there and look at it, I think we can take care of it.
Well, I think basically what we talked about was,
We
you
talked
know,
about
digging
it.
that up, tying it into the manhole and running it out to the other manhole, and then,
Yep. Plus running a line over the crawl space.
yeah,
to-
running the line
crawl
out of
spaces, right.
both buildings, you know, so that stuff stays dry underneath there,
Yep.
so.
I'd like to see that get started as soon as we can. I mean, it's been, if we get rain like we have earlier this year, it's
Oh,
just,
I'd
Well,
like
I
to see
think
what we've done.
if we could have that done by,
So the grass is
you know,
growing this fall.
mid-August or
Yeah.
something, then we could, you know,
Well, you're not gonna have it done by
that would be a good thing, huh?
You're not gonna have it done by mid-August.
Well,
Special
but
meeting.
say by the end of August or something. Well, I know we've got to get some
Yeah.
plans drawn up and stuff like that, to get the prices, so.
So we can get some bids on paving then too, or what?
We gotta decide what we wanna do over there.
I think we need to, as a board, we need to sit and decide what we really want to do there.
Well, we gotta do.
I think
one, we
right
gotta
now, I
pave
don't
it,
think
or-
it's in the budget to pave it. I think
Or-
what we need to do is maybe go in there and, you know, grade it out, and we need to pour the sidewalks around there, you know. And I'll just run this by you quick. What our thinking was to extend the sidewalk that's already there out in front, extend that all the way out to the corner. You know, that'll make 2 or 3 more parking spots out there on the corner. Are you with me? And to be on the east side of the building. And then put stone in the rest of it, you know, with a sidewalk running down the north side of the building. And then I don't know how many parking spots we did out, maybe 6, 7.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
But that's what we need to look at, and
well, can we begin bid process on those sidewalks?
as soon as we figure out what
As soon as we have some sizes.
Sizes and what we want to
Apples
do.
for apples.
Well, can we decide who's gonna decide what sizes we need, so we can get going?
Well, we need, as far as the sidewalks go, we need to pour what's already there. We need to match the existing.
Do we need a sidewalk on the north side?
I think we
We
do.
should have.
It's gonna get pretty expensive if we don't have something there and people run into the building.
The first
We
thing
are.
it'll make a bumper, you know,
Yeah.
have a 5.5, 6 inch step just like the front. It'll make a bumper and it gives people a place to walk, so if somebody gets hit over there, they either can't come back and say we never provided sidewalks.
I think it definitely is a
Well,
sidewalk.
if we know the dimensions of what we want, can't we start getting bids for that then?
You know the dimensions?
Hmm?
You know the dimensions right now?
I don't.
No. That's what
I would
say, we
expect
have
the
to-
building department to measure that for us.
Well, I think what
We
we
will.
need to do is we'll go over there and we'll take a look at it, and we'll come back with a plan, and then, you know, we'll present it to the board, you know, either at the next meeting or, if necessary, if you think
Yes,
it's,
sir, we have a special meeting.
yeah, if it isn't, we'll call a special meeting and discuss it.
Post it on the
You know,
website.
Yeah.
if we need to, you know, if we need to do that, then that's what we'll do.
Okay.
Moving on, Worth Township Fire Contract. I don't know, we've got the addendum, you know, the supplement addendum to the fire contract, but we have not received, and I talked to Doug today, and he just didn't have time to get it done, but we need to have the full contract so we can sign it. Mark, have you heard anything from them about the contract at all? The last I heard, they were gonna be down here to a meeting.
Well, that was a month ago, and the last month I said that
Well, but they were gonna tweak, they wanted,
they want to tweak some verbiage. I thought it was between you guys. I didn't ask
Haven't heard a word.
anything.
Not one word.
well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn it back over to Doug and let him straighten
I
it
mean,
out. Because
instead of
it's
paying
all
lawyer fees,
coming
if
out of
it's
that
just,
same
but if
line.
it's just chasing back and forth, instead of paying lawyer fees, I can push and get the,
Well,
down
I
here if
think
you want.
Mike needs to do that.
Well, what we need to do is we need to know, you know, if they're tweaking it, then send it to us so we know what they're tweaking it for, you know.
That actually supposedly came from their financial advisor,
Right, just for
which
collections.
would not be out of Doug's office.
So, I mean, all they have to do is the financial people, whoever their auditors are, whatever it is,
Yes.
whoever it is, just give them the verbiage and put it in there and be done with it, you know, but if their attorney's the same as ours, I can't understand what the,
Well, it
It
is-
isn't.
why you can't
it's
walk out of
attorney.
one door and back in the other door and get it done.
It's-
But-
Well, it's no action from work.
Yeah.
We get nothing from them.
Yeah.
We get no phone calls, we get no action, we get
Okay.
nothing.
I'll actually stop there tomorrow because I'm
I
gonna
say
be up
that's-
there in
that
Lexington.
would
I'll
be-
stop at the office and meet
That-
with them.
That's the best.
Okay. Deposit and rental fee, because of the holiday, we couldn't get anybody together. I'm hoping to get that together this week for the group that's gonna sit down and discuss fees for the old township hall. Moving on to the chapel. Jim?
Okay, yeah. We've got a few things taken care of over there. Mainly, we've been concentrating on our fundraising because we're going to turn our attentions to the inside of the chapel now. Basically, the outside is done. But anyway, some of the events that we have coming up here, if you all missed the June 23rd ice cream social, you missed a big ice cream bash. So we had all kinds of ice cream. There was a few people there. We made some money there. That worked out nice. Of course, I was at Bob Evans yesterday, and I didn't see very many of you there neither. That was our fundraiser. The matching funds, we get 15% now of the amount that you turn in those little coupons that we have with your bill. But you got another chance coming up here on August 11th, the Bob Evans fundraiser. Same setup. I think there's some of the coupons out here at the window.
Are the new ones there?
Yeah, I think the new ones are there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
August 16th and 17th is going to be our yard sale and bake sale at the chapel. That's always a big fundraiser for us. And if you have anything that you'd like to donate to
Bring it
us,
over.
we'll really appreciate it. The setup, or if you have stuff to donate, is Thursday,
3
the
to 6.
15th. Yeah, there we go, from 3 to 6. Then we have our gigantic bus going down to Comerica Park to watch the Tigers play Kansas City. It's $40 a seat. That gets you on the bus, and it gets you into Comerica Park, and it gets you back here. And it's on a Friday night, and there's also fireworks that we see there. And then we have our summer concert on September 15th from 2 to 4. And Julianne is going to be doing that for us again this year. And there'll be some refreshments only there.
What was the date of that, Jim?
That was on September 15th. Okay, the Times Herald is coming out tomorrow to do another story on the chapel for us.
Neat.
We're Chris Troy from the Regional Educational Service Agency, RESA, in Marysville, came out last December, and he wanted to do a 15-minute documentary on the chapel. And so we started. He took some pictures outside, and he took some more pictures inside and that. But he's actually looking for older pictures of the building, like back in the 1880s period, or the 1890s in there. So we're kind of looking around for stuff like that. If any of you know anybody that's still around that was in that church, I know that's a long time ago, but I mean, maybe in the 30s they were in it. And had
They're living
pictures or something. That's what we're looking for.
Ruth Ann Clenny probably is a possibility and may not even be aware.
No, she was. We talked to her on Saturday.
Does she know of any pictures at her house?
Well, not at her house, but
Because it would have been her mother that would have had them.
Are there any in the archives?
There's some pretty neat old pictures out at the old church on the North Road,
What?
right in the, because we had a call out there a few weeks ago.
In there of this building?
No, it's of the church out there, North Road.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but I'm sure there's something like that around for this one too.
But I don't know where.
But who knows where.
Contact the
Yeah.
right people
Yeah.
to find them, that's the thing.
So the Times Herald is going to kind of give us a hand with that,
Good.
with their story they're going to do. And we also have a Facebook site that you can go to. It's a Little White Chapel and Cemetery, or it's the Lakeport Cemetery, Little White Chapel. And we've gotten a few hits on that just recently. And Debbie Ward is taking care of that for us. And hopefully we can drum up some pictures or something from that site. The other thing I'd like to say is I want to ask the Township Board for the approval of starting the work, the interior work on the walls inside the building. We want to remove the walls down to the sheeting boards, which are on the inside of the 2x4s. And we want to rewire it, we want to insulate the walls, and we want to put the new walls back up. We'll put the wainscoting back up like the original was, and then we're going to drywall from there up, and we're going to put a sand paint finish on it to make it look like it's plaster. So before we make any moves on that, we want to get the okay from the board to solicit some bids to do that. And while you're thinking about that, when you think about Eastern Michigan Bank came through with a $2,500 donation for us. That was really great. And if you noticed our little thermometer out there by the road there, it went up a little bit. So we're almost to the $40,000 mark, the total money that we raised so far. And we had our annual meeting Saturday. We came up short on a couple of our positions. We need a chairperson and we need a secretary. So what we did was we held off on the vote until the August meeting. And that's when hopefully somebody's, will take those two positions. We're going to send out a letter to all of our members asking if somebody wants to volunteer to do that. But if there's somebody else available that would like to do that, we'd love to have you on board, you know. So that's kind of it. It's just, I guess the main thing is as long as we get the okay from the township to go ahead with the interior walls.
I guess, Jim, what I would ask is, how are we fit financially to pay for this?
Right now, we're sitting at $17,500 in the bank.
Is this something, once we start, we can get it done, so, you know, the
Yeah.
chapel isn't tied up, you know?
That's what we want. We want to get some bids, see what it's going to cost us to do the complete job, and then if we haven't got enough money, then we're going to wait until we have enough money in the bank to do that.
Okay.
So, yeah, we wouldn't tear it apart and leave it apart.
Well, I'm just more concerned about having to use that for funerals or something,
Right.
otherwise,
Right.
you know, and I have it tied up for 8 or 10 months, you know, and not be able to use it, so.
Yep.
That's my biggest concern.
You gonna get the bids?
Yes.
Or the,
Yeah.
asking us to get the bids or what?
No, we'll get the bids,
Okay.
you know.
You just want us to give
It's
it
just
your
asking-
blessing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we just want to okay from the board so that you know what we're doing, what's going to come down the road.
Okay,
And that doesn't surprise anybody when it happens.
Okay,
You
okay.
know,
one more question.
yes,
You had that tested a couple
Yes.
years back, right? There's no asbestos?
no asbestos at all, and
Okay.
I think the township's got a copy of that also.
I think we do, yeah, we have a clear
Right.
statement.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, I'm gonna make a motion that we go ahead and give our okay for them to go ahead and proceed with the interior work. You're
As long as we get enough
At least get the bids for the
Yeah.
interior work and see where we are, so.
I'll support it.
We have a motion and support. Are there any more questions? I'd ask for, do we need a roll call vote? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you for all the work you've done.
Moving on to new business. Well, we have a proclamation to give to Mr. Sam Franks, but he was unable to attend, so we have the proclamation here, if anybody would like to read it, or do you want us to read it, or Caroline, do you want to be on here reading this?
I could try. Recognizing Sam Frank as youngest graduate in SC4 history. Whereas Sam Frank, the son of Jim and Patricia Frank, has bypassed high school and has graduated magna cum laude on Friday, May 10th, 2013 from SC4 at age 16 as the college's youngest graduate on record. The Burtchville Township youth is low-key and matter-of-fact in describing his journey to an associate in science degree completed by the end of what would have been his junior year in high school. And whereas his mother started teaching him math when he was in first grade, and that aptitude for math continued. As a 7th grader at Fort Gratiot Middle School, Sam went to Portyear Northern High School to take pre-calculus and trigonometry. That led to his first class, Calculus 1, at SC4 as a 13-year-old 8th grader, and whereas a year later and 2 months into his freshman year at Northern, Sam was feeling unchallenged. With the support of his parents, who are SC4 professors, Sam, then 14, was able to enroll full-time at SC4 in the fall semester of 2010. In his last few semesters, he has completed specific credits for the science degree, but overall has significantly more credits than the typical associate degree graduate. Sam also took 4 French classes, all taught by his father. Asked if that was odd, Sam answered simply, "He's my teacher here and he's my dad outside of class." And whereas, even though Sam has already completed an SC4 degree, he plans to continue taking classes at SC4. He hopes taking electronics and programming classes will improve his chances of transferring into a prestigious engineering program. And whereas Sam plans to transfer into a bachelor's degree program for the fall of 2014. At that point, he'll be 18 and already 2 or more years into a 4-year degree program. He is most interested in nuclear engineering, which he hopes could lead to a career in design for an energy company. In his free time, in addition to hanging out with his friends, Sam enjoys playing video games. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Burtchville Township Board of Trustees, on behalf of its citizens, hereby adopts this proclamation and extends our congratulations to Sam Frank for his dedication and determination in his accomplishment of being the SC4's youngest graduate on record.
Thank you.
Phew.
So that is quite a feat, and we will make sure that he gets this. Also, the county did a proclamation too. And of course, he wasn't there to accept the counties either, but we'll make sure that he gets that.
Who printed this up?
Why?
Did we print this up?
Yeah.
We need to reprint it.
Why?
For this one SC4 says 5C4.
I saw that.
So we should fix that, so it's,
We can do that.
as long as we do it.
No, we did it. Yeah, we're correct.
I knew it was on here, I just didn't know if it was on there.
There you go.
Okay. Moving on, accept the audit from King and King.
Did you look at your audits? You all received?
We did.
Okay.
Yes.
Looks good.
Needs a motion to
I'll
accept.
move to accept the audit. King.
I'll second it. We have a motion and a second to accept the audit from King and King. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Violet?
Yes.
Mr. Apple?
Yes.
Mrs. Minnie?
Yes.
Mr. Flancer?
Yes.
Mrs. Tremble, yes.
Okay, moving on, we have an audit proposal from King and King. This is the last year of a three-year contract that we have with King and King to do our audit. John, you want?
It would be 3 additional years at the same price that we have been paying for the last 3 years. No increase in fees at all. It would be for the years ending March 31st, 2014, March 31st, 2015, and March 31st, 2016. At $8,500, that's what we've paid for the last 2 years. That's less than what we paid for a couple of years before that. So, and we've been, I think, very happy with their process.
Yeah, they're very
And they're
good.
very helpful.
Very timely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
Yes, they do.
I'll make a motion to accept the audit proposal from King and King for $8,500 for the 3-year term.
Do we have a second?
I'll support it.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or concerns? Hearing none, I would ask for a roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Minnie?
Yes.
Mr. Violet?
Yes.
Mr. Platzer?
Yes.
Mr. Apple?
Yes.
Mrs. Trimble? Who did I miss?
You got everybody.
Okay, didn't I? Okay, there we go.
Yep.
Ruth, you want to vote? Okay.
Okay, motion carries. Civil infractions ordinance. We have a civil infraction ordinance put together. It's been down to, our attorney. He sent it back. He tweaked it a little bit. He sent us back a clean, I sent you, everybody had one that was the proposal and the other one was the tweaked one. This proposal, if, Mike, if you'd like to explain how this ordinance works and might enlighten the people as how it works. And
The legislature has enabled us to deem certain offenses, rather than misdemeanors, we can deem them municipal civil infractions. This ordinance before you would allow the township to establish a civil infractions bureau. We've been writing tickets, the township in the past has written tickets, but they've all been taken at district court. What this does is allow the defendant to come in and plead, to pay the fine, with no explanation. If he tries to give any explanation, we have to send him down to district court. If he wants to come in and just pay the fine and admit responsibility, he can do so at the township office.
That's basically it in a
Yes.
nutshell.
Yes.
I think, I don't know, has everybody got a chance to look this ordinance over?
I've read it a couple times.
And what we need to do in order to pass this, of course, we need to have a public hearing on it. And then we'll be voting on it at a meeting, or we could call a special meeting to vote on it, whatever action. I really think, personally, I think this is the tool that we haven't had to take care of these things that have been lingering and lingering and lingering. I think, I think with this ordinance, it gives us a little more punch and to try to get these civil ordinances cleaned up. And that's my recommendation, but, and that's just my personal opinion, so.
And this is similar to the two other civil infraction ordinances in the other two communities I work in.
So who's the bureau?
The bureau would be established, it would probably be the day staff
People
here in the office.
Employees.
Employees of the township?
Employees of the
Not
township.
the board?
No. It'd be, the board would deem the civil infractions bureau.
Yeah. But we wouldn't be on that bureau.
In Burtchville Township is the deputy treasurer and the girls in the office serve as the bureau.
Yeah, they're all able to collect the fees and stuff.
But if the defendant wishes to provide any explanation, he's got to do so before the magistrate in district court.
So basically, they're just collectors.
Yes.
So is this gonna be like for the weeds and everything, or what's it?
I would suggest that, rather than the township incur the cost of cutting everybody's grass, we just start writing citations and,
how are you going to collect it?
well, you write a citation, they have 10 days to pay it here. If they don't, it goes down to district court. And it's an informal hearing before the magistrate.
So it does go somewhere else? And it
Yes,
doesn't-
if there's no action here, it goes to district court, and then a guy, they get served with notice.
And then if the magistrate solves the problem and gets the job done, it doesn't have to go any further than that.
And who, I guess looking at the grass, I know a couple of those letters that you sent out, those are foreclosures, there's nobody even there, plus they're out in the country.
But somebody owns them.
Yeah. How,
Is it a
how
bank?
are they getting it? What, well, that's,
Well, if it's a bank, you find out who the principal officer of the bank is.
but yeah,
Or
you sent letters out to
Yeah.
property owners.
Yeah.
On record, I imagine is what it was, correct? Or-
Right, and then I had to send out subsequent notices to,
So are you gonna send out letters? And then,
the first time, if they don't act, then they get a citation. I think it's only fair that you warn somebody before you start writing tickets. You gotta give them the chance to correct the violation rather than just up and citing a person.
And that's the problem we've had here in this township for years, you go give them a letter and don't do anything about it, so you never get the problem solved, But,
It's working well for me. I've been through the letter writing regime, and it's frustration at its best. And,
But everybody's warned, it isn't like you're not gonna go walk in there and write it, he's not gonna come to my place because my grass is 10 inches tall or 12 inches tall and write me a ticket. He's gonna send a letter and he's gonna give me 10 days or 12 days or 15 days to cut the grass. If I don't cut the grass, then he issues the citation,
It's called due process.
So Mike, they come in here with their ticket. And as long as they just, here's the money, we take it. If they question anything, we send them down to,
You have to go take any explanation or any, how do I say this? Obstinance or any argumentative. It goes to meet, the bureau employees would say, I'm sorry, we can only accept the fine.
right,
Any explanation has to be done at the magistrate's
It says
office.
that right in section 3.
so then they take that ticket down.
They would go to district court.
Okay.
And if they pay their fine and still don't mow their lawn, or whatever?
They get a second
I would
citation.
assume, yeah. And so that's the second one in, the fine just went up, right? Okay. Okey-dokey.
Well, hopefully, I'm not looking at this to make money for the township. I'm making it to solve the problems that we haven't been able to solve for the 5 years that I've sat on this board, that, you know, with nothing getting done, you know. That's my problem. If you've got a, you know, you got a beautiful home there, and the guy next door, has got the grass this tall, that's aggravating, or junk, or anything else, you know. You know, I understand that, and I think those are things, and I think once residents know that this is enforced, that they're gonna clean up their act. You know, we got some probably that'll never clean up their act, but, you know.
For the most part, yeah, but I guess my biggest concern is these foreclosures and stuff, because we still have a number of foreclosures going on. And the banks can't touch those for the first 6 months, I don't think, or something like that.
They can't maintain the yards? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know the exact days, I mean, maybe you do, but
I don't know the exact
you
days, but
might, or,
I think it's close to, between 90 and 120 days.
yeah.
But
I mean, it's still their property. And
Well, for the
well,
few.
then I guess they get the letter? Because it is still their property.
Yeah, they would.
And
you
they-
can send them all the letters you want, they're not there, that's what I'm saying, unless
We
it's
had,
forwarded.
all right, we had an instance in another jurisdiction, and it was a noxious smell. So, it's owned by an LLC. So I go on the state website, bring up the LLC, look who the resident agent is, and it's an accountant. The accountant got the letter. The accountant also got the ticket. And if you want to hear somebody squeal, he says, it's not my property. I said, you are the resident agent of the LLC. Therefore, the citation is yours. You know, we haven't had any more problems with that property.
It's amazing.
But yeah, you just can't cite a corporation or a bank. You have to go and find a principal individual and put a name on that ticket.
That answered my question.
Well, okay, if that is clear, I think that we should try and set a date and have a public hearing on this.
Do we need a motion to accept the fact that that's what we're going to do or not? To move to proceed?
Move to proceed with this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would make the motion that we move to proceed.
Should this, somewhere here, should it be stated who the bureau is going to be, or do you just change it whatever you want? I mean, should it be pointed out that, you know, it's going to be the deputy treasurer and the
I don't
deputy
think so.
clerk?
I don't
or-
think so.
What happens
I don't
if
think we need to do
that
that.
employee leaves and the incoming employee, the board doesn't want on that
Right.
bureau?
I think we appoint it as,
We
that
need to
happens
do it
after you
as
adopt
we
it.
adopt it. After the adoption.
Basically, I think it's going to be, all the office staff will be involved somewhere. So whoever is at the window to collect
So
the
you're gonna
money.
adopt this with this blank spot here,
What blank spot?
C, on the
No,
first page.
we're gonna adopt.
The bureau shall be under the
I see
supervision
it, Al.
of control of the township blank and the township board of trustees.
Of the Township of Burtchville. But all we're doing is adopting to proceed with a public hearing to review this, and if that isn't corrected by the time we have the public hearing, then I guess that would be the time to bring that up.
We're just voting on, you know,
Having a public hearing on the civil
Proceeding.
infraction.
go ahead and proceed with this, you know.
Okay, that's under the township who? Supervisor, that's what you're asking. Which board member is the bureau under?
Well, there's that blank, I think there's a couple other things.
Right, we can determine that. We can either have that typed in or determine that at the public hearing, I would think.
We need to really get it adopted before we appoint a board to begin with, you know.
The only other blanks I see now are
Yeah.
passing the motions.
Yeah, I was thinking the other group.
But yeah, that would be who of the township board would be supervision of the bureau.
Well, anyway, I have a motion on the floor to proceed with this. We have a second.
I'll support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Are any further questions?
So, just so I get this motion straight, this is the motion to go ahead and have a public hearing.
Right,
Go ahead and have a public hearing. That way, we'll ask Mike to come and he'll be able to explain
Will that be,
and answer any questions that may arise at the public hearing.
we'll be able to do that at our next regular board meeting, or we gotta have a special?
we may do it at another time. We could do it. What's the 15 days publishing? Is that the new law?
Yes, yeah.
Everything is 15 days? And then,
Website and front door.
but, what was I just gonna ask?
Okay.
But you don't send letters out to neighboring the
No.
property owners because
No.
there's too many of them, right? Okay. All right, that's it. 15 days, published in the paper.
Yeah, so it has to be published in paper too.
Paper posted and
Yes, we will publish it. Okay, my
You wanna
motion
pick
is,
up a
my
date?
motion is still on the floor.
Oh, that's
I don't think
right,
we
that's
voted
true.
on my motion yet. Do we need a roll call vote or just
I
a?
don't believe so because we're just proceeding with
Okay,
it.
we're gonna proceed with a public hearing on this. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to our fireworks ordinance for Burtchville Township.
Well, I put that in there just to see if anyone was interested in pursuing what the city of Fort Erie is doing, and that's kind of checking things out to see what they can actually do. This flyer was just something, it was just to see if you're interested in trying to do some control. We've had a lot of complaints from residents, and I hear them way over where I live, all day, all night, for
Well,
months.
It's
We
the
heard-
4th of July, that's why you hear that.
No,
Yeah.
for months, Mike. They've been going on. They were on again this week. I mean, they're on at night, every night. We have them every night.
Well,
You can only,
you said we've had lots of complaints. Other than this week is the first time that I've ever heard of any
Oh my gosh, it's
complaints. Other
been
than
going on for over a
last
year.
year at the 4th of July, we had a lot of complaints, from residents, but,
all you can do is make an ordinance, the way I read this is from 1 AM to 8 AM.
Mhm.
yeah, through the state, on the state.
I mean, I'm not hearing stuff in the middle of the night personally.
Oh, we
but,
are.
I mean, up until.
I hear it
midnight.
up till about 11.
Yeah, midnight. I mean, we get a lot of it over along the lake. I hate
Yes.
it, my neighbors hate it. and
You get them,
But I haven't gotten one up in the middle of the night.
I don't know how you're gonna ever control it.
that's
Well,
what I'm
again-
asking, if you want to take a look
again,
at it
it
or not.
comes-
So,
Again, it comes back to the enforcement aspect
Right.
of it.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's just like a noise ordinance.
by the time.
It's
you
an
get there,
enforcement
gone.
deal. By the time the sheriff's department is called and the sheriff gets there, the noise has subsided and there is nobody even around it, you know, so. I know it's probably aggravating to the people where it's happening, but, you know, again, since we don't have a police force or, you know, our own police force and stuff like that, I don't know how you're gonna enforce it, you know.
It's not easy.
Port Huron will be able to enforce it.
Pardon?
Port Huron won't be able to enforce it.
Marysville can't either,
Go with-
because by the time they go, the shell goes off and the officer pulls up, everybody's going, who, me? And,
They're over here, then they're going off over there. I mean,
you
Well, one big
know.
complaint we had, Al, was on your road
Oh,
where
yeah.
they were going into the neighbors' yards on their roof. There's all kinds of debris. Now, I think that's a call to the sheriff's department immediately. They were afraid, there was 2 people that called from there that they were afraid to go out of their house, to even go over and tell the people to quit it, because they didn't know if they were gonna have the,
Oh, one neighbor over there told me she was gonna get one of them blowhorn cans or something. She's gonna go to each township board member and start just blowing the horn.
Well,
I
I've
said,
heard
we'll start at
some
my
of
house,
this.
because I said, I don't know how you're gonna enforce
It's an
it.
interesting, I've been called out of bed twice last year at 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning and by the sheriff's department, wanted to know what kind of a noise ordinance we had, you know. I
Tell them
come
to
up
pull
here
out
and
theirs and
you
read
know,
it, because
bring the
that's
book.
what it
Well,
is.
they do have the book now, so they.
That's a good thing, but they still tell people that they
But,
aren't, they don't have to enforce it if we don't have one, and that's simply not true, so. Anyway, okay, I just put that in there to see if anybody was interested in trying to do anything. And if not, it's okay.
Okay, just one more question. We did have this before the planning commission, right?
The
The
noise.
noise ordinance,
Yes.
Not
Yeah,
fireworks
the noise,
specific.
yeah, not-
Yeah, there's no way of measuring it. The police don't even have a way of measuring it.
Decibel.
The decibels,
Yeah.
How you gonna, you guys doing anything in Marysville or Port Huron Township?
We've got a DB meter in Marysville.
Mhm.
Actually, they're a couple $100. But you can just stand at the property line, hold it up, and she'll give you a digital reading, and if it's over, write them.
But you gotta be there when they're doing it.
That's right.
That's the
That's the
problem.
catch.
So you get there and you got your
How
meter.
many are they writing?
We got 2 in 12 years.
Well, there you
Well,
go.
when did you get
So,
the
here, what's
meter
that tell
though?
you?
But they've had the meter since I've been there.
And they,
You can sit here and make all the rules we want, but I don't know how you're gonna enforce them.
Like I said, the problem is getting there when the problem is going on.
Yeah, you need to be there.
so the answer then is to get hold of our congressman and have them tighten the rule down and get rid of what they did?
Making too much money on taxes, probably, sales
Have the
tax.
state, another crack at it.
I had 3-inch mortars going off at my house this
Yeah.
weekend.
How fun.
Oh, yeah.
Well, moving on then, Ruth's annual report.
We're going to do
We'll do
that.
that at the end.
That's right, but you also have a water ordinance, don't you, that you wanted to proceed with, or what?
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that water ordinance. We have a new water ordinance that was down.
Did you want, should we have added that?
No, I knew it wasn't on the agenda. but
Oh, okay, you-
Because I just got it back today from
Okay, Doug?
Doug. It's something that, it's something we need to look at, and I'll get one in everybody's,
Okay.
and one in everybody's
So
mailbox.
that's on for the next,
Because I just got that at 1 o'clock or 1:30 this afternoon, so
okay.
I think we'll look at that. Okay,
Ruth's review, she would like that done on closed session.
okay, that's fine. Supervisor's report. What was I gonna talk about at the supervisor's report?
Recyclable report.
Recyclables. It's in the air that Fort Gratiot is thinking of going to curbside recycling with their, with Marcotte. So I don't know where our recycling with them is gonna be. I know they have a contract with this company till the end of September, so I don't know at the end of September where we're gonna be with recycling, so.
Well, Saturday, I was there Saturday and they cut it off.
What time? It was dumpsters and they were full,
They were
right?
full at 9:30 and
Yeah,
they wouldn't take it after that.
Really?
And the dumpsters were still there Monday night.
and it was dumpsters. Were you there, Mike?
Yeah, I was there
too.
early, I was there at 8
I
o'clock.
think we barely made the cutoff
Yeah, they had 2 dumpsters sitting there.
Yep.
instead of the boxes. And they had a different name on the dumpsters, so I thought maybe they had changed companies.
Well, either that or, you know, he couldn't get his stuff over here. I don't know exactly what the problem was.
Something, yeah.
But I never got a call from Georgia. I did get a call last week concerning that they were really gonna look very hard at having Marcotte do their recycling at curbside. So that's gonna knock that program out if that happens. So I don't know what what we wanna do. I don't know, we wanted to, Georgia did mention to me that maybe if we were interested in garbage pickup from one company, you know, for the whole township, you know, to look into it and maybe combine and go together on a contract for the whole township. But I don't know, everybody, you know, how many years ago did they try to get
Oh, that's quite a while
garbage
ago.
pickup through?
6, 7 years ago.
But that's a vote of the people, I think.
Well,
Has
yeah,
to be
you would
held,
do
an
it, yeah.
election has to be held.
But
I believe.
I don't know that we might want to send out maybe send out a letter or see if people are interested in it. I know they're paying like $145 a year, I think, per person for garbage pickup. And that was with the recycling, the new deal with Marcotte. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Nancy told us that we pay more than that right now for Marcotte to pick our garbage.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
When you're paying
Ours
ours
is $200,
Huh?
over $200 a year.
And is that township wide? No,
you
that's
do it
your own.
individually,
you know,
so-
Yeah.
for an individual to pick it up, so, you know.
And that's not
it-
recycling.
It might be worth our while to investigate. I don't, you know, get a letter out there or something that, see if people are interested in garbage pickup. They may be, I don't know. You
It would go on their taxes, right?
know, it would, yeah, they would pay for it, yeah, through their tax, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Through their taxes, but, and maybe people aren't interested in it. You know, until we put out a feeler on that.
They weren't
I know,
before we did it, but, you know, I mean, you
It's
can do it
been a long
again.
time.
Yeah, you can do it again.
and the only reason I bring that subject up is because I know that down there at Fort Gratiot, that 50% of their business is Burtchville Township, you know,
On the recycling.
on their recycling. So we're filling up half of those containers down there from Burtchville people that are, so
And the
that,
main thing
what
was-
that suggests to me is that there is an interest in recycling, and whether we could work something out, or, you know, if people are interested, until we put out a feeler and find out how people feel about it.
Yeah, because to support that individually, I don't think we could afford to do it. I'm sure we couldn't. Just doing the recycling again without the curbside pickup.
Oh, and with the headaches that they're having down there with
Yeah.
this individual contractor,
Right.
I don't think that we want to get involved in it. I mean, it's a
No,
headache
It's a
for them.
shame, but
You know, and those people work hard down there.
If you're gonna do that, go back to the can out here. You just pay the $300 a can.
what are you talking, just
Denny will take all that recyclables. If we went down and bought cans, I think he bought a lot of cans, I'm not positive, but the county still have them?
I don't know.
No,
They were offering them for a dollar.
City of Marysville's got 2 of them at
Yeah,
$1 a piece.
and then you just hire Denny Will to pick, I don't know who's picking on Marysville's, but Denny Will pick them up. He's recycling all that stuff down there.
Right now, Marysville's is being done through Waste Management.
But they left such messes here.
Oh, I know, but I mean, that,
You know, we had them coming from all over, not just.
Well, it
Burtchville.
became a garbage dump. It didn't
It
become a
did.
recycling, it just became a garbage dump.
Yeah.
but when,
Come in here on Monday morning, there'd be 50 bags laying outside of the dumpster, you know, and not only
And propane
bags,
tanks
but
and.
junk, everything else, you know. So,
most of the people, when they know the cost, when Fort Gratiot gets the cost on picking up the recyclables, then they say, no, that won't work either.
well, the only thing Georgia suggested to me, and I said, well, you know, without putting out a feeler to see exactly how the residents of Burtchville Township feel, you know, maybe there are enough people interested in that, you know, and then if there are, then we need to, you know, sit down and try to negotiate something that, you know, price-wise, you gotta have something concrete to tell the people what they're gonna pay, you know, they get involved in something like that, but, you know, everybody, I think, has garbage pickup of some kind, you know. In the township, there's 20 trucks in and out of here every day, different trucks in the township, so, you know.
I guarantee you, there's a lot of them don't have it.
I was gonna say, except for those that fill all of our dumpsters at the park and whatever, they don't wanna pay for, there's summer residents and they don't wanna pay for year-round garbage removal. So we're paying for some of it anyway.
Well, it's just, I'm just putting that out for.
I think that's what we found the last time we did the survey. There's so much summer people that
They don't wanna
that they
pay.
don't want to. And you really have to get, you can't just put it up to the voters, you need to put it up to the property owners. Because they're the ones paying the bill.
Yeah, well, they're the ones filling up, our some of them filling up our dumpsters too.
They're the ones paying the bill.
Okay, moving on, Caroline, clerk's report.
I had a presentation from Kerr Albert, I had a presentation from Kerr Albert, Office Supply, where we buy most of our office stuff. And they have joined a co-op called the TIPS program. It's a nationwide program. It's basically a purchasing co-op, which has enabled them to reduce their prices to us. For instance, on copy paper, we'd be saving at least $4 to $5 per box of copy paper. We use a lot. And other items, there are a lot of items at a reduced price. In order to take advantage of it, this co-op program is strictly for government entities, 501(c)(3)s. It's not just for the general public and for private business. It doesn't work that way. But the only thing we would have to do if we were interested is we sign that we are a government entity. It doesn't commit us to any financial obligation or any time frame. Doesn't mean we have to purchase from them. It just means we are signing that we are a government agency.
It gives us a discount
Proof.
when we need them.
Yeah. So, anybody have a problem with that?
Do we need a motion to sign that, or?
Only if you want to.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, we are a government agency.
That's right.
Signing the tax exemption certificate.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. That, and then the Friends of the Library have donated $1,500 toward the restoration of the old Township Hall. And they designated it for curtains and the lights, which are still on back order, which is driving me crazy, but one of these days they'll be in. The curtains that we had there don't fit anymore, the windows are larger. So,
And the catalog is on its way. I'll probably have it tomorrow.
okay. We'll take a look at that. And
So that was very nice of them.
Very generous.
Yeah.
Anytime you see any of the members, please thank them, and I'm going to send them a thank you note. They, you know, if everybody went to their fundraisers, you'd realize how hard they worked to raise the amount of money that they have. When the library was built, I believe they gave us over $60,000 toward that by book sales at $0.25 a book, bake sales, just amazing.
Pig roast.
Pig roast, yeah. So anyway, that was very generous.
Okay, thank you. Jody, treasurer's report?
No, the other thing I have, I know we were talking about the 1% administrative fee last month. It was asked about what the cost, the expenses of preparing the taxes and mailing them out and the expenses that go along with it. I have some rough numbers here, but it's relatively close. There would be 3 salaries involved. Would be the assessor, the treasurer, and the deputy treasurer. So I plugged in a percentage of that at about like 2/3 of their work goes toward collection of taxes, and that's probably conservative. But then with the other expenses, it's well over $40,000 just to prepare the taxes, mail them out, do all of the hearings, do the Board of Appeals and things of that nature. So it far exceeds the 1% that we'd collect. So,
Okay, thank you. Got anything else?
nope.
Trustee Cindy?
I don't really have anything. I would like to ask, and I haven't asked it when I've been in, how's the credit card? I mean, are people utilizing it for water and taxes?
Yeah, I asked them about a month ago, and they said, yeah, people are using it.
Okay.
Not so much for
Taxes,
taxes.
but water rates? Okay, just curious.
Okay. Al?
Nope, I don't know.
Okay, moving on, extended public comment. Mr. Everett?
Yeah. The chapel, now that you have a Facebook, could a link be put on the chapel page on the website?
Of our website?
Yeah, just a little Facebook link, and we'll send some traffic over there.
Yeah, we-
Guess so, then.
Yeah, you can do. Harris
You want it
Road,
added to the township?
You can, I guess, yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. Debbie Warden is taking care of that for us. I don't think I'll see her tomorrow, I can ask her tomorrow.
Okay, let me know.
Yeah. Okay.
Check with Debbie and say,
yeah, because if you go to the chapel page,
yeah.
you know, you can have a little Facebook link
Click on
on
it,
there, kick over there, you get all kinds of information, whatever you've got in there. Is Harris Road done now? When I know they put a patch in there, but I'm really concerned with the hydroplaning that's still going.
Well,
still
I
there
talked about that hydroplaning, and they evidently aren't going to do anything about that.
Okay, what about the cracks that are going back and forth down the road? Last winter, when it got really bad, it didn't just separate those cracks. The actual asphalt lifted. And if water gets back down in there and freezes again, how long are they gonna, I guess my question is, how long are they gonna replace things?
Well,
The job, or, you know, I don't know if this is true or not, Al, but, you know, I guess I think it was late when it was sprinkling or raining.
That was bad material.
That was
The guy
that particular space was.
the guy that was
The
laying it,
entire
Todd knew
road
it was bad when they were laying it, he told the inspector, and they said that it tested okay. But
I wasn't
Yeah, I did.
exactly impressed with the way they repaired that road either. I'm going to call Kurt West and get him out there. We're going to go out there and take a look at it. As far as repaving it, you know,
Yeah.
where they repaved it.
Well,
You know, I guess it isn't what I expected that they were going to do, but
I drive that a lot, and it does slope the way it's supposed to. There's no hydroplaning in there, and there's no bump on one end, no bump on the other, no cracks in it.
yeah.
It looks a little
Well,
rough. I
It's
mean,
still,
you know,
it's still July 15th,
But
you know,
that's true.
it isn't,
But
Funny,
there's
it
just
isn't
a
freezing
lot
or
of,
anything.
there's
As
a
far as
lot
the
of
other-
cracks that go all the way across that are not on State Road, and State Road's been laid for a long time. The hydroplaning is really bad. You know, when the street's not lit, you can't tell. I know if it's raining, maybe you should drive 5 or 10 miles an hour, but there are some areas in there that compared to the length of State Road when it was redone, and the amount of hydroplaning that's on there, it's just, this road just, I don't think was done properly at all.
well, I'll talk to Kurt about it.
You know.
I'll give him a call.
And the only other thing is when, as far as the civil infractions ordinance, when somebody has to go down there, does somebody from the township have to go down as well to represent the township? Yes?
Yes.
Is that an attorney or is that you?
No.
That's you?
Yep.
Okay. And that's before a magistrate?
Right.
And how many times before a magistrate do you go before you have to go before a judge? Or do you not ever have to do that?
If he chooses not to have a formal hearing, you never go before a judge.
So you're at the magistrate each and
Yes.
every time? Okay. And the scope of the infractions, are we talking just the blight ordinance? Are we talking trash receptacle ordinance? Are we talking
It's everything that's deemed a municipal civil infraction in the ordinances.
in all the ordinances? Okay. So in the big book as well as the 4 separate ones that we have?
I would have to review that. I haven't looked at the specific ordinance to see how they're
Okay.
handled.
I mean, last year we put in one for trash receptacles for restaurants and businesses, and nothing was ever done about it. The amount of vehicles that are sold on a property has been exceeded in a couple of places. So those all fall within the scope of civil infractions.
If they're so designated, yes.
Who designates them?
It would be spelled out in the ordinance.
In the civil infractions
No,
ordinance?
in the individual law ordinance, violation is a municipal civil infraction or a misdemeanor.
Oh, so then we'd have to go back and we'd have to change all of the ordinances, correct?
No.
No? Okay. But
We're
that's
gonna
not-
have a public hearing on that, so, we can answer those questions at a public hearing.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I
Yes.
make a comment? Since I brought up the 1% thing, I was just wondering if anybody had an opportunity to kind of look into, see if there was another option besides the 1%. Why we talked about making it,
Oh, you mean
it'd
like
be
a-
$40,000, you know, then you divide it up by, you know, a set fee for how many tax invoices you send out.
Oh, according to the amount of tax you pay.
I mean, it's a, you know, a set, for the same, you know, service provided, you know, have the same fee as opposed to, once again, you know, have it anywhere from, you know, 2 to 10, you know, whatever.
Well, I
15,
I didn't
difference,
get a
single fee.
I didn't get a chance to talk to anybody about that, you know.
I don't know what the feasibility is, that's why,
But I will get a hold of somebody and I'll call you and let you know what it is. You know, as far as, or what, you know, what else is available. To my knowledge, you know, it's a straight 1%,
Well, we
administrative
Up
fee.
up to one,
Up to
we
one.
could change that next year if we,
The amount,
the
but
percentage.
not, yes,
The
but that's it.
percent-
it's
Yes.
still a
Yeah.
percentage. You
That's
can't-
what the
you
state-
can't-
That's all,
I think that's all
I
we can
think we have an
change. I
opportunity
think
to
that's
do.
all we can do.
Well, that was my question, is there, you
Yeah,
know, other options? Because-
I don't think so.
I
No,
don't think there's any other
They made it
vehicle
not fair,
that-
and we're stuck with it, and if we want to use it, is what it amounts to. So I wrote that state law. But
Some of those state laws, you know, the way they write them.
We didn't do it.
it's like property tax, or it's like a sales tax, it's a percent, it's not a fee.
Yeah.
They call it a fee.
that's what the state wrote, and that's all that we
Yeah,
can
They
follow.
take your money away, and then they go ahead and say, well, here's how you can get it back.
Yeah.
You go to your citizens and tell them you're gonna charge them X
That's not-
percent. Well, it's a matter of principle, not
I
necessarily,
understand that.
you know.
Did that answer your question? I mean, I'll try to
I'm
get
just
more,
curious if there are any
more
options.
information, you know, for you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. I guess we'll close this meeting and go into closed session. Close the meeting at 8:17. 8:13. We'll go into closed session. Thank you, people. You're willing to stay around until the adjournment.